just covering the wildfires. Alex Stone, I guess the weekend, it got worse over the weekend. Is that right?
Well, it did on one fire, the biggest fire, the Thomas fire, the one we've been on since last Monday, a week ago today. It grew almost 100,000 acres just over the weekend. That is incredible, the amount of land that it has been able to char through. And now it's at 230,000 acres. It's still raging. We know just on this one fire, 790 structures have been destroyed. They don't know how many of those are homes because all they can see is burning foundations, and they're just counting buildings at this point, but eventually they'll figure out. And most of them are probably homes when they're going through these neighborhoods, and many of them are just suburban, regular neighborhoods. But there are areas that it's burning into now that are celebrity homes or large mansions, large estates. Celebrities, Oprah, Ellen, Katy Perry, they live in the communities where the fire is heading now. They've been tweeting today. They've got prayers. They're saying thank you to the firefighters. But this is still going to be a heck of a firefight. This thing is raging like it's day one, and we're now into day 7, and there seems to be no end in sight for this fire. As you heard the governor say a moment ago, it seems like this is probably going to go through Christmas.
Alex Stone, I guess there's no containment of this fire as of yet?
No, well, they've got 10%, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot. That means 90% of the fire is uncontained and uncontrolled, and really the 10% comes from because one side of the fire is the Pacific Ocean, and it's not going to burn into the Pacific Ocean, and so that's just a natural fire break that they have, that they know that, okay, that side of the fire is taken care of, but the rest of the fire is open and uncontained, uncontrolled, and moving into the Los Padres National Forest, and as it gets into there, that's going to be a problem. There are no roads. There is nothing that is going to stop it at that point. There's nothing built that could be a firewall. It can just continue to rage on from there and through the forest. The winds are going to die down a bit this week. They're much lower than they were last week. Even yesterday, they got pretty gusty. They're not going to be there, but the Santa Ana winds are still here. And even if they're not blowing real hard, they're still blowing and coming in from the desert, which means 2-3% humidity during the daytime, and even without a strong wind, when it's that dry, the flames just explode. We need the normal weather pattern to return. What typically happens in California, the wind comes off the ocean, it has a lot of moisture in it, and then it moves inland, especially in the coastal areas where you get a lot of fog, you get a lot of marine layer. We need that to come back, and this is the beginning of the rainy season typically, and there's no rain in the long-term forecast through the beginning of January. So we need a little bit of a normal pattern to return, and then it will dampen down the fire quite quickly. But until that happens, it's going to continue to rage.
Alex Stone, you mentioned all the homes, the people evacuating. I mean, what is life like? What are the roads like? What are the hotels like? Where are these people going?
Well, the hotels are completely full, and if they're not full of evacuees or full of firefighters, when we checked out of our hotel last week, they desperately needed the room, and we gave it to them to put firefighters into, that they had firefighters staying, 10, 11 firefighters in a room, which was pretty incredible, just sleeping all over the floor. And those are firefighters who decided to go there and didn't want to stay at base camp. They could stay at base camp, but as you can imagine, after a week of camping, you just want to go get a shower. And it is camping. They're in tents, and they're eating in chow lines and working 18-hour shifts and then going back out on the line. They're working incredibly hard right now. But life is not good in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. It is incredibly smoky. It has been for a week now, raining ash. People are walking around wearing masks, and it's really only in that area because the wind is so defined and pointing right out toward the ocean, the Santa Ana winds, that you don't have to worry about that in other areas. And most of the other fires that were burning last week are either contained or very close to being contained, that they're in the 90% containment range. Right. It's really this fire, the Thomas fire, that still is growing quite rapidly and still putting up smoke and ash all over the area.
Alex Stone, thanks for checking in. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.